What's up? It's Tom. Thanks for clicking on this video. Let's talk about Luis Arraez. Trade rumors around Luis Arraez swirling once again. Dan Hayes of The Athletic released a report that gives us some more information on some of the more details, some concrete details about the Twins discussing Arraez with the Marlins and kind of those talks. I don't want to give you the specifics because that's the kind of the meat of the report that Dan brings out. And, they have a paywall there. I want you to go support the Athletics. We're not going to get into the specific details of those, but I do want to discuss potentially trading Luis Arraez in some sort of a package that includes Pablo Lopez, what I would rather see the Twins do instead. I am not completely against trading Luis Arraez. Everybody has a price, but it's a little bit difficult for me to see the logic in really the Twins getting better by trading him to address another area of the team, as opposed to some of the other options that are out there. Even still, we can really nitpick if we play what if and go back in time. We'll discuss some of that in a minute. But there's still guys out there on the free agent market that I think could fulfill some of the needs that this Twins team still has. We've talked about them already. They've been in the news. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Michael Wacha is as good as Pablo Lopez. But if you look at their 2022 numbers and sort of try to take away some of your preconceived notions of those guys, if you're familiar with them both, it's hard for me to believe that, again, when you factor in that the cost of acquiring Pablo Lopez is potentially Luis Arraez, whatever it is, you're going to have to give the Marlins some nice pieces to get Pablo Lopez, whereas Michael Wacha, all you got to do is give him money. He's been on the free agent market still. He's been on the free agent market this long because no one's giving him what he wants. I imagine it's more of a beggars can't be choosers situation, to where it's not that Michael Wacha has 15 offers and he's just waiting for the right team to come. I don't think he would be opposed to joining the Twins. But here are their 2022 numbers last season. And I know, again, this is going to make it really look like I'm trying to say that Michael Wacha is the same guy as Pablo Lopez. That's not what I'm trying to say. I would rather have Pablo Lopez in the Twins. But it's not like this guy, Michael Wacha, who all he's going to take is for you to get back into that Polad pocket and take some more money out of there in free agency. That's all it's going to take. You don't have to send anybody anywhere. You just have to give this guy money. And look at that ERA, WHIP, and the slash line against in particular. Very similar. If anything, Wacha comes out on top. K percentage, walk percentage, the strikeouts definitely more on Lopez's end, walks on Wacha's. Now, we've talked about Wacha and how I said I'm not opposed to them signing him. He's not a guy that really jumped out the page to me. Not really a guy that coming into free agency, I was like, oh, this guy could really help the Twins. Here we are. He's the best starting pitcher remaining. The Twins clearly are looking for more starting pitching. If they're asking the Marlins about Pablo Lopez, that means they're looking to make some additions to the rotation. And again, I think, I don't view Pablo Lopez as like a huge upgrade to the top of the rotation that would sort of like change the outlook in a short series, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that, I think that's maybe the type of pitcher that if the Twins could get, that you do kind of get a little nuts on, you do get out of your comfort zone on adding. I think Pablo Lopez would be, maybe up there with Sonny Gray and Tyler Mahle for the best pitcher on the staff. But I don't know that, I think his main thing he would bring is to give more depth to the rotation. And again, even though I think he's better than Wacha, I think Wacha does that too. And I know there's probably people screaming, get to the other stuff though. Because I don't have, this was rushed a little bit. So I don't have the BABIP present as it should. That should be 283 for Lopez and 260 for Wacha. Threw that in a spreadsheet and it came out that way. I forgot to fix it. My bad. But yes, Wacha had an incredibly low BABIP. That was one of the reasons why he had a lot of success last year. But if you look at the barrel rate, the hard hit percentages, it's not as if the outcomes on a lot of the batted ball events are all that different between Michael Wacha and Pablo Lopez. When we look at it that way, Lopez had a much higher swinging strike rate, which we like. So we'd certainly prefer that. And again, I want to make that super duper clear that I'm not saying I would take Wacha over Lopez. And that's one of the reasons why Lopez misses a lot more bats. That's super valuable. But fastball velocity. If you're thinking, oh, Lopez can miss bats, Wacha's kind of a more of a pitch to contact guy. Well, they're throwing about as hard as each other. 93.6 on average for Lopez, 93 for Wacha. And then age-wise, Lopez is a young guy in the come-up. You can maybe think he's, has some steps to take. Maybe the Twins can kind of help him along in that process. But it's not as if Wacha's like this, like 30, like Zach Greinke, like a 38, 39-year-old. He's still 31, and he's been around forever, Michael Wacha. He really came up young with the Cardinals. So it feels like he's got to be older than that. But yeah, still only 31 years old. So it's not like you look at Michael Wacha and think, oh, this guy's going to fall apart. So again, kind of a weird way I wanted to take that conversation was the Twins shouldn't trade Luis Arraez because I love Michael Wacha. Apparently, that's the journey we just went on. I didn't see myself taking this journey today, but here we are. I honestly do think it would make more sense for the Twins to just sign Michael Wacha if they're looking for a rotation. I mean, if you feel like you kind of trust the depth that the Twins have in the rotation right now, with guys like Josh Winder, Louis Varland, Simeon Woods Richardson, all these guys on the outside looking in of the projected 5-man rotation. I mean, I always want more. And guys get injured like crazy. We know that with the Twins. Hopefully the new trainer helps fix that, but more depth would be great. And again, I'm not some kind of I'm not Michael Wacha's like secret brother-in-law or something. I almost feel that way presenting this idea, but I really think, whatever you can do to, whatever, I don't think that Lopez is that much better than Wacha to make sense of losing Arraez. And again, I mentioned this earlier that we weren't going to do the second guessing thing right away, but let's do it now. If they were really open to trading Luis Arraez and they kind of knew that this was going to be a possibility entering the offseason, I don't get why the Twins didn't further pursue some of the top first basemen on the market who went for pretty reasonable prices. Jose Abreu, he went really early into the Astros, a really desirable place to go. Not saying he would have viewed the Twins in such light, especially pre-Correa re-signing. I don't know. Defending World Series champions, that's a pretty tough team to compete with. But like Josh Bell went to Cleveland. And now maybe they view Joey Gallo as more of a first baseman than I do. So maybe Gallo was kind of that guy that they got for insurance at first. Obviously, Alex Kirilloff may play into this picture in some way. Perhaps Jose Miranda will as well, although we're expecting him to mostly play third. Plans can change. There's other guys in the mix too, but I just feel like, it's really hard. I'm not completely against them trading Luis Arraez, but it's going to be really hard for me if it happens to not to think like, really, this made more sense than, again, just signing Michael Wacha or whatever. It's going to be tough for me to, and without even talking about the package, everybody has a price. Everybody has a price. There's nobody who's untouchable. So I'm not saying, the Twins would be foolish, just blanketly saying the Twins would be foolish to trade Luis Arraez. I just do not see the motivation in this particular instance. Even if you want to argue that Pablo Lopez is a more valuable player than Luis Arraez, it's especially tough with the Twins, always needing pitching. So it's like, and I appreciate the fact that they're trying to make the team better still. So just want to end with that. Anyway, this was a very unstructured rant I wanted to get out. I just wanted to get that off my chest, that Michael Wacha is the greatest pitcher of all time, and he should be on the 2023 Minnesota Twins. Opening day starter, game 1 starter, Michael Wacha. Get it done. Get it done, Falvey. Wear Wacha. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to all of the channel members, but especially the premium members here. We'll talk again soon.